Hi everyone, welcome to another handwriting critique. Today we have two volunteers, people who have sent me their handwriting via email, and I'm gonna spend some time making suggestions on how to improve it. This is from Andrew, and he sent this in earlier 2020, and he says, the first word he learned to write in cursive was elephant. He says that people tell me my cursive is a bit non-standard, and the hardest thing for me is my hand doesn't know how to move while I write, and I feel I'm always shaky. It's hard for me to be deliberate, especially at slow speed, and I never know how the paper should sit in front of me or how my hand should travel through it. Spacing, angles, alignment, all that needs work. I think you're a bit hard on yourself. I think it looks pretty good. You know, all those things that you mentioned, we all have trouble with it, you know. Everybody feels shaky. I feel shaky sometimes. I don't know why. Maybe you have coffee in the morning, or you're just not awake yet. All these things contribute to writing, so it's not just you know, it's everybody. I think it looks pretty good. You said you just started. Non-standard, that's fine, but you know, your cursive doesn't have to be standard. What's standard anyway, right? It's all kinds of handwriting out there. So this is standard for Andrew, so that's great. The first thing I always look at when I'm doing these critiques is R's, and your R's are fun. It's not standard, you're right, but it's your handwriting. And handwriting is your signature, and your signature is who you are. So, you know, stick to it. It's your thing. What I would suggest keeping an eye on would be your D's. So some of it is a little hard to read. That's a really fun D, by the way. I mean, where did you come up with that? It's so interesting. So let's try it out. Sweet. Ooh, your Z's are fun too. So let's so much to look at, Andrew. S W I T. So you do this. Okay, I see. L. Oh, you don't loop your L's. Fine. Okay, so that's your thing with your A's. You do this, I think. And then your D's, you do this. Now, I'm curious, where are you from? Because I don't think this is like an American style of writing. I know some Scandinavian countries, they have like the loops and stuff, but this is fun. So your A's, you do this, and your D's, you do this. Okay, and I see it's recurring everywhere. Now, I wouldn't keep it, to be honest. If you wanna develop this as a font, feel free. You know, you can always keep it for later. But if you was to use this for everyday writing, you know, it might be a little hard to read. So if you was to use this for a letter to a friend, yeah, sure, whatever, you know, do your thing. But if I was to write a cover letter, or I don't know, a resume maybe, or something important, I wouldn't use your regular D's and A's, because I gotta be honest, it's a little difficult to read, even though it's fun. So I would suggest doing a standard A and a standard D. Okay, you could, if you want, develop your D as a flourish eventually, but right now to get your cursive down and legible and easy, to read, I would work on the basics. So maybe at the end of a word, you could do something like that because it's not so bad. But if it's in the middle of a word, it's hard to read. So yeah, and I would but I would work on your A's too. So there you go. Okay, so that's my suggestions. Keep your letters standard, and if not, and if you want to keep these ornaments, close the loops at least, so then we know for sure, oh, that's a D, that's an A, or that's a G. Okay, and you're gonna have to figure out how you want to add your ornament in. But in my opinion, maybe there's no need for the ornaments. Okay, thanks for sending in your stuff. Hope you've been working, and let me know your progress. This is our second volunteer. This is by Mohammed, who lives in Dubai. He's got beautiful handwriting. I really like it. So one thing I like is it's very consistent. Spacing is great. And I like how these little flourishes are breaking out. So, yay. I really like this one. Just, I like how you are doing your sharp turns. Some of them are really sharp, like this one's just boom, 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 ouch. It's gonna get stung. But it works for you, so that's great. I really like that. And that's good too. Let's move on to second page. So we were talking about your flourishing, so you could try it if you like, but I feel like without these it looks a little more neat. Like in this page you have this stuff going here and this stuff going here. It might be distracting. If you restrain yourself, I know it's hard, the page looks cleaner, right? Now I'm not saying you should stop flourishing. I'm just saying you should only do it where it doesn't obstruct the writing. So for example, you did some here on the top or here for the recipient's name. That's great. Maybe you could have done one here too with your name. When it doesn't work is when it's in the middle of a paragraph, like here. Oh, yeah, it kind of like blocks the next word. Yeah, so like in the beginning, that's fine. In the end, that's fine, but I would not do anymore in the middle of a sentence. I really like your spacing. Everything feels free, it's like I can breathe while I'm reading it. It's like, thank you for your email, I'm sending you. It's very pleasant to read, so that's great. I don't remember if you sent this on a lined paper, but the you got your baselines really straight, so that's great. If I was to nitpick, I would say that maybe the spacing between the sentences could be a little more careful. Like these two have great spacing, you see, but then that's a bit close, and that's a bit close, so it kind of breaks the flow. So you want to keep an eye on your spacing throughout so that the whole letter looks consistent and beautiful. A little tip that I find makes any letter looks good is to start paragraphs way past. I know there's a word for it. I remember margin. you're leaving only a little bit of space, but if you leave way more space and you start here, the paragraph looks better. You know, just trust me, try it. I like how everything's all consistently, you know, horizontal, but for your signature, you went on an angle. Okay, that's fun. That's it's like a little bit of personality. But if you wanna have something funky like that, I would go all out. I would go even more, and then I would add flourish maybe. And for sure, your name should be signed with confidence. Your name and the recipient's name is a great time to flourish and to make it look, you know, fancy. And then everything else can be reserved. So you're almost there, you know. Don't be ashamed. Make a fancy M, you know, your name's really cool. Put some flourishes here and there. And then I think you would end up with a very beautiful letter. I hope this has been helpful. Thanks for sending me your samples. If any of you all want me to critique your writing, just send me an email with your samples, you know, a little bit about yourself, and I'll try to get to your video timely. Okay, thank you. Thanks for watching. Bye.